Hi, welcome to Gene Rants. I'm Gene. I won't be, well, in a way, I guess it could be a rant because it's something that really disappoints me. But first, I just want to talk about it. It's about the flood that we just had in Texas, where so many people, last time I heard 87 deaths so far, and at least 27 children. A lot of them were children, and it's just so tragic. And I guess the rant part comes in that it could have been avoided. It could have been avoided. And that's what I want to talk about, because I want to urge something that will prevent this from happening in the future. And I mean, it sounds like clickbait, but I'm serious about this. For less than $250, what happened, those people, all those people who died, could be alive today. And you saw the thumbnail for this blog today, so you already know the answer. And the answer is, I've always wondered this. Certain areas of the country are flood zones, and we've had so many floods. This was by far the worst one. I mean, there have been floods in the past, and you give the warnings, and most people, if they're smart, they heed the warnings. Some people don't, but they see the water rising, and they get the message and they get out of there. But this was something. You have to go all the way back to, and it was Texas again, turn of the 20th century, Galveston, Texas. There was a flood similar to this one. And like then, warnings were given. I mean, you have the Democrats now, shame on them. One woman, if you talk about really shameful, she was talking about, that all the girls in that girls' camp, these girls who were killed, they were all white, and that somehow that made a difference. And there were other people, actually, so many X posts or tweets or Blue Sky or whatever, saying that Texas got what Texas deserved, and they said, "Oh, it was the Doge cuts, and there were not enough staff to warn people." Warnings were given up to 12 hours in advance. But as somebody who lives in Texas, was in this situation, they said, "Well, we get these flood warnings all the time, and obviously, if we see rising water, we'll get out of there. But we get so many of these warnings, and nothing happens. There is no flood." And I could say from my own experience, here in Tennessee, where I live, we're always getting. We often get tornado warnings about tornadoes, and I always wonder about a tornado hitting my house, which is basically made out of, it's all wood, wouldn't last 5 seconds. And there was one time where the wind got really hard, and I went down in my basement. Lucky enough to have one. Most of the houses where I live don't have basements because the water table is so high, so you can't have basements. But other times, if the wind's not blowing really hard, then you could say shame on me, but I ignore the warning because we get these all the time. But what I want to say, if you saw I'm sure you saw the thumbnail for this vlog, so you already know the answer, how this could be avoided. If you are in a flood zone, if you are in an area that has floods, if you are in Texas or Florida where there have been floods, you can buy these. Go on. Well, here, let me put the image up. You're looking at the answer right there. A boat, a lifeboat, an inflatable boat. Now, the one you're looking at, the photo, it holds 5 people, 1,300 pounds, and the cost is $231. So you add in the tax, it could vary wherever you live, but we'll just say less than $250. For less than $250, if you'd spent that to have one of these boats, or if you have a very large family, 2 of them, okay, that you could. Unfortunately, I don't get a lot of viewers to this vlog. If you know anybody who lives in that area, if you live in a flood area and know somebody who does, pass this along. $231, you can have a boat. And by the way, that boat that you just saw in the photo, it inflates. You can inflate that boat in about, there was a video, a customer review, and it took that person 6 or 7 minutes. So we'll just say 10 minutes at the most. At the most, 10 minutes to inflate that boat, that boat, and lives could have been saved. 5 people can fit in that one boat. And if you only have that one boat, and you have a neighbor who doesn't have a boat, well, you can, they float in the water and hold on to the side of the boat. Um, it's just tragic, and it could have been avoided. And what I would suggest, if you live in one of these areas and you have write to your congressman or your governor or your local assembly person or state senate person, and say there should be a law. Why not? There are law. Every home, the home I live has a smoke alarm. There are laws that say every home has to have a smoke alarm. All right, I have one. So in these flood areas, why not a law that every home must have an inflatable boat, just like on a ship at sea, enough boats to accommodate the number of people in the family, the number of people who would conceivably need the boat if there were a flood. When there's no flood, the boat, they don't take up that much space, and again, less than $250. And I don't know why people don't do this anyways. It makes no sense to me that they don't just do it anyways. But if necessary, pass a law. States with their police powers, that just as with smoke alarms and fire extinguishers and so many other things, they can require people to have one. And you could also require, or not require, but you can say if somebody is too poor to afford one, that the state will pay for one, or you get a tax deduction from your state taxes if you have one. Maybe the federal government could tax credit, tax deduction or a tax credit money for a boat. And I just can't say this too many times. I know I'm sounding like a broken record, but this could $250 at the most, $250, inflatable boat. And the boat, you saw the one in the photo, it has oars on with it. You can row to some other location if necessary, but if you have to, just sit in the boat and just wait for rescue. And it's so tragic, and doubly tragic because it could have been avoided with just a little precaution. So I guess I've repeated this enough today. It's just tragic, and that's it for today. If you could subscribe, that would really be great. Should definitely share this video with anyone you think could benefit from it. Your comments welcome in the comment section below the video. But most of all, come back and see me again. I'd love to see all of you again. And until I do see all of you again, buy. And since we're talking about buy, again, if you live in a flood area, buy an inflatable boat. You will thank me for this. Bye.